They've been like lately talking about Latinos wasn't in rap and this and this. These guys are delusional. We're from the Bronx, New York. It happens. And so when hip hop started, it's Latino and black, half and half. But they going at me because I'm like the only Spanish dude, like really with a big voice. And Latinos wasn't there. You was invited. You are a specimen. I don't know what is up with these people that don't know their facts.
Now, Fat Joe is losing his mind because he's trying to talk to a bunch of 20-year-olds and 18 and 17-year-olds who's trying to tell him he's just a guest. This is all black people stuff. Fat Joe is from my era, so he's older than me. But still, he's from my era, so he don't understand. Like, do you how could you even say something like this? You don't know the history, but this is how the internet works. People talk without knowing anything of what in the world they're talking about. They don't even research it and say, "Hey, wait a minute. Do I even know what I'm saying or what I'm talking about?" I don't think they do. I don't even think they have a plan. They just say things and roll with it. For instance, this whole debacle came up because Fat Joe made a statement saying that hip hop started in the Bronx with the blacks and the Latinos. And man, oh man, that's where everybody got to going in on him. And thinks Fat Joe is trying to take the culture that isn't his. Well, Fat Joe didn't really break it down into the science of it, but if you want to really get to the gist of it, it was basically a bunch of Puerto Ricans and blacks, mainly, and white guys in hip hop when it first started. Mostly Latinos. Now, you might say, well, what do you mean? You guys think hip hop, you guys think music, and that's it. When the hip hop first came around, graffiti was the first representation of hip hop. The graffiti artists, tagging. That was the first signs of hip hop. Your crews, who territory, all of this stuff was determined by taggers, and most of them were Latin. Okay, so this is your hip hop lesson. The subways, the trains. That was the first representation of hip hop. Then it became the DJs, the mixtapes, and breakdancing. That led to breakdancing. And breakdancing in graffiti became the representation of hip hop. And who are your breakdancers? Mostly black and Latinos. More Latinos than blacks. You guys didn't know that, did you? It was more Latinos, Puerto Ricans to be exact, and Dominicans, more than that, but more Puerto Ricans. Guys from the Bronx had those crews, and they were some of the baddest breakdancers you've ever seen. And they were Puerto Rican. Mexican, LA, breakdancers. That's how hip hop was able to spread so fast, was through the dance, through breakdancing. So y'all starting to get the picture now? Is it getting a little clearer to you? All right, well, let's continue with the lesson. After that representation, the DJs had the microphone and decided to start rapping on the microphones. So all the DJs who were the master of ceremonies was basically keeping the crowd hype as the radio blasted and people were breakdancing to the music. Then, as people started to evolve, rap became that representation of hip hop. There was still tagging, there was still graffiti art, there was still breakdancing, but rap became the new leader of what was hip hop and the determination of what driven people into hip hop and everything else. This was the driving force, in other words. It was the music. Rap represented what hip hop was. And who was rap? Some Puerto Ricans and blacks. And the Puerto Ricans, they had their flow, but some of them weren't really ready for what was to come because they were into other music as to what, the science of the five boroughs. But you had Puerto Rican guys who could spit. They was really soldiers about theirs. So Fat Joe was out representing and holding it down for the Bronx, where hip hop is phenomenal. It thrives because that's like the home bed of it is the Bronx. It's like a different energy in the Bronx. I wouldn't go there, but it's a different energy. So hip hop was that representation. Blacks, whites, and Latinos have been in hip hop since its inception. So for all you young people who thinking it was all black, and this is no, we dominated. We're about like 92% to like 8% everything else, but it didn't start that way. People forget the Beastie Boys, Third Base, you know. You had a bunch of Jewish kids that wanted to try to rap. It's a lot of white kids who tried this, and it just didn't work out for them. There was always white rappers. So it's no it's no coincidence that this is happening. But these people are young. You guys are young. You don't understand the history of the art form of what represented this beautiful culture of ours. Now, oh yeah, man. I mean, people did it in school. You was hip hop and didn't know it. Every time you get that folder and you do that artwork and tag it up and put your name on there in bold letters, you got fire coming off of the letters. You doing hip hop. You just tagging. You just tagging your own folder. your own stuff, but it's hip hop. The creativity of all of it. I knew this kid named Darnell Davis, man. He just couldn't help himself. When I went to school, the teachers could beat the living crap out of you. And my first grade teacher, man, she was like, calling this poor soul Darnell Davis. And he just kept getting beat because he couldn't follow instructions. He had he always had marks for not paying attention. You know, attention skills was poor. It was very poor. And when his attention skills fell off, he was done. And he just used to draw all the time. And I remember he drew a 100. He had no, he got like a 45 on the test. And he drew a race car around the number 45 and had it like on the door, like number 45 car. And he's like, see, car number 45. His imagination was somewhere else. He was creating even in a bad moment. And he's going to get beat down for drawing and not paying attention in class and not listening to the teacher. He keeps trying to talk to me when the teacher says no talking. And this is a strict teacher. She wished for a student to talk and get caught talking when she said no. So he was getting punished left and right. And she had like 10 rulers stacked together into one. And they were like glued together. Like she took her time to design that just so she could wear kids' hands out. Open your hand. You gotta stick your hand all the way out, and she just go to work with rapid little short shots. And you be like on the floor while she still got your hand. Yeah, she was psychotic. Um, so it teaches you not to mess up. Um, yeah, man, but that's how hip hop came to be. So y'all blaming Fat Joe for no reason. Fat Joe's telling y'all the truth. But y'all sitting here blaming him as if you know what you're talking about. You're a guest. You know. Oh my God. Do you think he's Eminem or something? You're a guest. Eminem is a guest because he comes from like Detroit. He ain't from the Bronx, he ain't from New York, he's not from where it started. He doesn't really have any like normal backgrounds. I mean, it's predominantly black music, but to say white people wasn't in hip hop when it started, then that would be a lie. It was always white guys rapping. Latinos was always rapping. Some of them, they were just mostly rapping in Spanish. There was always Puerto Ricans in there. The best breakdancers in the world, majority of them were Puerto Rican. So to understand hip hop and understand what this is, rap has just become the main generator of what represents hip hop right now. It's got the lead, but it does not mean everybody is subject to, what's to come with hip hop, or just say, okay, well, you're breakdancing right now. If somebody start breakdancing right now, what you gonna say? That's not hip hop. It is. It's just a different form of representation of it. So, Fat Joe is right. Y'all were wrong. So I hope now everything is clear, crystal to everyone Hopefully everybody's hit the like button. Hopefully all you guys have went to my Cash App, sent me a Cash App, and donated if you wanted to. If your super chat don't work, that's $Carceno, and that's it. You know, you'll find me on the Cash App. I'm the guy in the green shirt, wearing my green Boston Celtics shirt. It says Carceno for life, and it has $Carceno under it. I have to say it like that because some people are sending money to the wrong people. I don't know who those scammers are, but y'all been paying them. So now, what else should we talk about? Because this is done and done. Um, don't live by other people's standards. Live by your own. Try to be original. But the question was, what would you tell a new artist? I'll tell them, don't try to live by other people's standards. Live on your own. And, you know, the best to you, man. Wish you nothing but success. Gotta have the work ethic and the drive. Don't let the money be your motivating factor. So, other than that, I mean, you should already like know this. No one should even need to have to tell you, because this already should be embedded in you. If this is what you want. That goes with anything in life. Should no one really have to tell you? You should already be ready when that time comes. You know. Well, it's it's fickle right now because nobody really breaks dance anymore. There's no roller rink where everyone battles and have breakdancing battles and stuff like that anymore. There used to be breakdance battles at the skating rink. Then it was hip hop night. You had everybody doing dance moves. Girls dressed up like aerobics figures. It was crazy. Crazy time. Well, I'm going to get out of here and let you guys watch one of the 4 videos that might pipe up. And thank you for your time. Carceno has left the building.